One of the gurus from India suggested me, like, real freedom or liberation is when you are in Turia or quietude of the mind 24/7. So if you can say something about this, I mean, is that a joke? Turia. I don't know what they are. How do you expect me to know what they are? These words. As Eckhart teaches the philosophy of Indus, there's a term called Turia, which refers to the fourth state of consciousness. The first state of consciousness is waking up state, we all know, while the second and third are the dream states and the dreamless sleep. The fourth state of consciousness is thought awareness. You can bring true perspective and balance into your life by moving towards fourth state. When you think, feel, perceive, and experience consciousness is born into form. It is reincarnating into a thought, a feeling, or a sense, perception, and experience. The cycle of rebirths that Buddhists hope to get out of eventually is happening continuously, and it is only at this movement through the power of now that you can get out of it. Through complete acceptance of the form of the now, you become internally aligned with space, which is the essence of now. Through acceptance, you become spacious inside, aligned with space instead of the form. That brings you true perspective and balance into your life. Throughout the day, there is continuous changing succession of things that you see and hear. In the first movement of seeing something or hearing sound, and more so it is unfamiliar before the mind names or interprets what you see or hear. There is usually a gap of alert attention in which the perception occurs. That is the inner space. Its duration differs from person to person. It is easy to miss because in many people those spaces are extremely short, perhaps only a second or less. Yeah, so I think that I'm just going to go with Truey, please. Please. Sorry, I just saw please call me. I'm just going to go with Truey, if that's how you pronounce it. So basically, what they're speaking about is the same thing, but just from a different angle. The right here, right now, you are not the thoughts, feelings, sensations, or perceptions. So you're not found outside in the world, and you're not found internally in sensation. What you are is this empty looking, which is here, and not identified with anything ever at any point. So they're just saying it's in the space between thoughts. But actually it's there when thinking is happening. So it's actually all around thinking. It's not just in the space, but that's an easy way to speak about it, a nice way to speak about it, but it's actually all around the thoughts. So now if you think about the elephant in the room, there is actually this huge consciousness or watching or perception which isn't identified with anything, which is in all places and no places simultaneously. So it's not that you have to become aware of that, because you are in the thoughts. You are part of the thinking process. The idea that you've got to become aware of it is a technique actually to settle the person down. And then when the person's settled down, there is more of a sense that there is this there's just the opportunity to hear this more. Because when the person's really busy, there's such a narrow focus on the person. But you are all around. Who you are is the still presence, which is all things simultaneously. You're not found in this person which is trying to be present or trying to be in the gap between the thoughts. I mean, that's perfect to do that. I'm not saying don't do that, but actually it's even bigger than that. Who you are is the spaciousness that's here all the time. It's not just in between the thoughts. It's here when all of that's happening, when everything is happening, it is here, free, totally free. And this, who you are, doesn't need anything, doesn't want anything. And so this is why it's often like the practice is for the person to not need things or want things or to go beyond their needs and wants, because they're too identified with the person. But who you truly are doesn't need or want anything. It's just experiencing free. But the perception now is totally free. And it's not something you do, the perception. It's not something that you make happen. It's here automatically. And it's not located anywhere. It's not a perception like a perception of things. It's in all things, the perception. And then it even gets more mysterious as you go into it, because then eventually you just get to, it's just no thing appearing as all things. So I'm sure there's similarities to these words and what we're talking about, but it's just like a different way of teaching. And I'm not against that way of teaching people to calm themselves down, because I work with a lot of people, and my experience is like a good amount of those people are very addicted to thinking. Not all of them, but good amount. And very addicted to their story, where they're going. They might not realize it. Yeah. So calming that down and doing these practices, I think, are good. But who is it that wakes up? You are a thought as well. You are a position. And this is talking about something which is beyond position. It's not subject, object. And this is oneness. The looking and the looked at are one and the same thing. Right here, right now. See, the person is always in about doing something. And time, what is timeless that's here? The person always is in time, because it's in a thought and an energy. I want to go shopping. Who wants to go shopping? A character, the urges and the feeling of the body. But who are you? That's not who you are. That's a functioning happening in who you are. Who you are is the timeless.